Hi, I'm Johnny Campbell, and it's that time of year again. We're December 2019, heading into not just a new year, a new decade. Everyone has their predictions. Well, I want to give you some insight in terms of, first of all, what's happening in the wider world today, in the world of hiring. I want to talk to you about the trends, not just for 2020, but the trends I think we're going to see for the next number of years. They're going to impact TA, particularly 6 core implications from 4 macro trends that we see today. Let's get stuck into it. So I'll be brief on these because these are kind of obvious, the big 4 macro trends that affect hiring today, right? Number 1, tightening labor markets. UK alone has seen this lowest number of rate of unemployment since the early 70s right now. And across the world, we're seeing really low unemployment rates, particularly in Western markets. This is a no-brainer. If there are less people on the job market, it's going to be hard to find talent. And that's driving most of what we see in terms of these trends. Another trend I want to talk to you about is the global mobility of labor. So even if you work as an employee in a market that doesn't have a low rate of unemployment, you can hop on a plane and work in a different city, state, country tomorrow. The advent of low-cost airlines like in Europe, Ryanair, Southwest in the US, mean that you can commute to a different city, a whole different part of the world to a certain degree, and work there and still come home. So the talent is mobile, and multinationals around the world typically employ up to 80% of their workforce from non-nationals, people who aren't from that country. So it really is a truly global workforce where people can up and move around the world. And so the mobility factor is driving a really kind of global low unemployment rate. Third thing is the demographic change that 2020 brings as a milestone, which is that for the first ever year, what we call millennials or younger will dominate the workforce. We'll reach that tipping point where more than 50% of the workforce are millennials or younger. So the Gen X's and the baby boomers, like myself as a Gen Xer or others, who used to kind of put up with the other individuals coming into the workforce, talked about the young people. Now they will talk about us as the older people. They are the dominant part of the workforce from 2020. And that changes things because they are the generation that grew up with the internet and with technology. They don't know a world where you don't have this level of technological sophistication. We do, so we are willing to allow for bad experiences online. Now, the majority of the workforce just won't accept that, and that has a big implication for talent. And the fourth thing is the move towards what we call employee centricity when it's our current workforce, our candidate experience, our candidate centricity when they're potential workforce. And this is a move that recognizes that organizations that focus their entire being around employee and candidate centricity are more profitable and grow better. So it's about redesigning organizations and decision making around the employee, or in a hiring process around the candidate. They're the 4 macro trends I want you to think about because they are the drivers of these 6 implications. These 6 things I think that will come up against time and time again as we enter into the roaring 20s. As we head into 2020 and beyond, I think these things will come up over and over again. They're not new, not pretending they are. Things don't move at a rapid pace, but they are the things that are going to probably impact you the most in recruiting over the next decade. So one is the move towards, the need for organizations who are hiring to have more of a unified global or singular brand and singular experience for talent. And I'll expand on that in a second. They'll need to look more at consumer grade hiring experiences. They'll need to kind of look at either a global or universal TA approach, move away from those silos of countries or divisions. Look at the focus of partnership amongst everyone involved in hiring, and really as an organization have a more holistic talent strategy. And when you're hiring, think less about the role at hand and more about the potential within the organization and how this person could fit in globally in our business. Let me dive into each of those. So the first one is one brand, one experience. So again, think about candidates who are perhaps in a, let's make it simple, a border country. Now, you live on the border between 2 countries and they want to work, or they're thinking about working for your organization. And you've got a plant or factory or an office on either side of the border within reasonable proximity of this candidate. In the traditional world, you might have 2 different countries with 2 different ATSs, 2 different job sites, 2 different career pages. And if I'm a candidate and I'm applying to your organization, it's not acceptable that I have this disjointed experience and that I have to probably apply twice. Candidates want to work for an organization, and they want to have, perhaps these days, and you look at stats from a lot of, let's say, under 30s, say that up to maybe 70 or 80% of them, according to recent surveys, say they want the opportunity to work abroad. They don't just see their local country as being the be-all and end-all. They want to work for a global company. They want global opportunities. They want to apply to you as a global company, not as a local company. So you see the need for organizations to redesign their processes, not just their career sites, but the career site drives a process change that says we need to try and give an experience to the talent that is unified. It's you apply for us as an organization. We'll figure out all the different stuff behind the scenes about which country, which role. You don't have to worry about that. And what if you don't do that? Well, there's another organization that looks just like you, who are one click away, who have that more unified experience. And you know what? They're going to apply for them instead. So this kind of tight demand, tight labor market, and the kind of mobility of talent mean that you can't afford to have those different silos amongst different countries anymore. You have to offer a unified experience to that candidate. So thinking about that experience in the candidate online, a lot of us look at other career sites, other companies who are hiring, and try and benchmark ourselves against what does their career site look like. You need to move away from that kind of thinking. You need to think about the candidate's experience on a device and all the other things she could do on that device right now. People don't say, I'll spend 30 minutes on my phone looking for a job now. They might start going, I wonder if there are any jobs available, but they'll get distracted by their email, their Facebook, their Instagram, etc., etc. You are competing against all of these things, against Amazon, against Netflix, against the social media sites, because you're competing for the time and attention of that individual. And their experience expectation is driven by their experience on that platform, that device, not by what do other career sites look like. So for example, if you look at the Amazon experience, the Amazon experience isn't purely driven around, I go in and I search for what I want and it's coded and cataloged. Yes, they have that. But Amazon is increasingly built around, you log in and they go, hey Johnny, I think you want this. And you go, I do want that. That's a great suggestion. You buy that and they go, you should do this with that as well. You get it, okay? The Amazon experience should replace the career site experience. When you transact these days, you can transact with your Apple or Android watch, and you can close the experience with a tap. Why do I have to fill out this form? I have given this information to LinkedIn. Can I move on? Domino's, you can track your pizza all the way from order to your front door. You can't track your job application. You get it. You need to be more consumer driven. Again, thinking about universal TA, your processes, systems, and agility are really important. If I interview for you in a job in Spain, I do 3 rounds of interviews, and you say the UK want to consider me for a job, I expect to jump in at stage 3 or 4, not start again. You need to have a unified hiring experience around the world and around your divisions for me, because I won't accept anything else. That means you've got to get alignment around these things and fix these problems. Likewise, your recruiters in Spain aren't busy in June, but your recruiters in Dallas are. You need to redeploy their skills because they're a global team, because it's not acceptable to just have them work on one environment. Again, back to those recruiters, we expect them to be true partners. The recruiter can only get so far. You can make her an excellent recruiter, but she has to work with the hiring team, the hiring manager, with the HRBP, and you need to align those teams to the same level. Misalignment is the root of all evil, as John Vasilika says on our platform. And you need to make sure that you are giving equal development, knowledge, training, and tools to everyone involved in hiring to get true partnership. And one of the implications of this is that when you look at the kind of employee and candidate experience, you need to try and join up all the different parts of the talent team, not just talent acquisition, which only can go out and acquire new talent, but to solve the problems for hiring managers, maybe we should retrain some of their teams, redeploy some people. Maybe that will help inclusivity in the business and drive more diverse movement of our talent around. Organizations like Accenture, Access, Sodexo, Amadeus, Intel, King, Gilead have all realized this in the last couple of years, and they've combined these resources in what we call a singular talent team, which is really important. And then at the nth degree, you look and say, well, you know what, if we're more joined up as a global organization, we need to stop thinking about hiring for the role at hand and the hiring manager at hand. What about the next 2 roles this employee could have in our organizations? Why would we leave that decision to this one person who has an immediate need? Let's hire for the potential of the organization and everyone who could leverage this employee, moving towards more hiring committees, etc., like the likes of Amazon and Google have done. These are the things that are driving the next generation, the next decade. I'd love to know what you think. Are there other trends we've missed? Get in touch. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. You can reach me at any of these sources. I'd love to hear from you.